How do you overcome addictions? Well, addictions in form of, to be fair, there can be so many different addictions in today's society, right? Like it's not only one that's big. Like in the past, it might have been alcohol that was the biggest, in the past, or it might have been sex addicts as well, or it might have been people that were addicted to, eating a lot of food and things like that. But in current day, it's just so many addictions being fed to us, and most of the time we aren't even aware that these things are addictions. I'm gonna be a little bit of a hypocrite here because I myself addicted to the phone. I need the phone to function in day to day, but astray from the phone addiction, which I believe most of us, if we're living in modern society, which we are, we sort of need the phone for work, for contacting people, for even applications. I need the phone to even go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like to scan. I need to scan because I go to a gym without where there is no one in the gym, right? Like I don't have a physical card. Like I have to scan like some QR code to get inside the gym. So I need the phone to build these muscles, right? That's what I need. So I need it for that. I need it for contacting my friends. I need it for some business as well. So I'm gonna let's just not talk about the phone addiction per se, because I'm giving everyone a free pass on that. But astray from the phone, there are so many addictions that are being pushed and forced upon us almost. Some big ones, the television, really standing for tele-vision. They're telling you a vision so you can't focus on your own vision, right? So you can't focus on achieving your own vision, wasting time, like eating chips, watching Netflix and shit, right? That's what people are doing, grown men doing. It's ridiculous. Pornography, another one, you know, watching people do activities on a screen instead of having a loving relationship, right? We have drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. You get diagnosed with depression or anxiety. They prescribe you a pill, get you hooked on that, so you give more money. Now you're hooked on that, right? Another viral addiction going on in today's society. We got the obvious ones as well: alcohol, drugs, gambling, eating junk food. You know, attention. That's a big one. I think attention, like this narcissism that comes from social media of wanting likes, wanting, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm with it too. Like I want people to subscribe to my channel. Like, like I've been doing this for about 2 weeks. I know it takes like 3 to 6 months to get good results if you're starting from scratch, which is what I'm doing, or to get any results, like seeing the needle move forward. But I'm trying to do this to get better as a speaker and bring some good motivation to the world, not only for the likes, comment, and subscriptions, although I do appreciate it. So please subscribe and like, right? But straight from that, guys, like the attention thing, needing attention, being addicted to that. Oh, I need someone to tell me I'm this. I need someone to pump my ego up, right? To feel good, to have pride, to be above other people. Big one, big thing happening in today's society as well. Sort of draining us, sort of making us feel insignificant if other people aren't validating our posts, right? So, so much, so much so that people out there be, getting depressed and things like that if one of their social media accounts get blocked or something like that, right? Someone gets removed from Twitter and they fall apart or something like that. How do you actually break one like an addiction like this though? Well, what's worked for me, and I guarantee you it will work for you as well, if you just do it. It's gonna take a lot of work though. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be some darkness before the light, so to speak. There's going to be some storms, some demons to fight off, so to speak, or starving the flesh of the dopamine that's been hijacking you, right? And it comes back to this like simple principle, and it really goes back to starving the flesh. I think that's like the first thing, like removing junk food, removing sugar, removing things that the body find pleasurable, right? Like just going into almost starvation mode, and realizing like you're not gonna starve. Fasting is great. Fasting is amazing. Stop feeding yourself all this energy all the time, and you will notice that you feel more pure, you feel more alive, you have more energy, you feel more happy, right? Speaking of food, right? Like remove all the stimulation, alcohol too, remove that. Starve the body from what the ego wants, right? Like from what the addiction dopamine wants. Starve it from the TV, starve the mind from the TV. All right, go back to who you are. Once you have some clarity, gone through the pace of where there is some suffering to it, but suffering is inevitable. You're gonna suffer more if you're addicted to these things. It's gonna be a longer lifelong suffering instead of having some intense withdrawal symptoms, what we call withdrawals, or like depression and things like that. And there are things you can do to manage them. Spending time in nature, going for walks, hanging out with loved ones, doing fun activities, journaling, meditating, sitting with your mind, being present, writing. Once you have some clarity of mind, you want to find out your own vision, your own purpose, right? That can take years. It might take weeks. It might take months or years, depending on where you're at currently. For me, it took a few years, like a few solid years of like journaling, just figuring out who I am again, to find like my purpose, right? What I actually want to do, what I'm creatively inclined to do. Once you find that inner compass, that inner calling, that might be business. It can be an artistic pursuit. That can be, athletic pursuit. Now, I'm not in the business of being an athlete. Like, I'm not an athlete per se, but I'm trained like an athlete because I love having that vitality and energy, and physique of feeling great, of having strength, of having vitality, of having health and energy. Because I think without health, guys, you're not going to have the clarity of mind or energy to go through the obstacles that are going to come in your way while you're working toward mastery on a craft, right? But to get rid of addictions, you really want to find this craft, and you only can do that when you have a clearer mind, when the mind is not scattered, when it doesn't need things anymore, when you don't need things, right? That's the thing. Like when you don't need things, when you're not addicted to things, when your mind is free, right? When your mind is open to ideas on its own, when you have that focus, that patience, that discipline, and you can guide it to where you want to go rather than being drawn into these multiple addictions. There are so many of these addictions, right? So do that. If that makes sense. I promise you, if you do that and then find your purpose, become addicted to your purpose instead. It's much more meaningful. It's going to fulfill you. You're going to feel it in your soul. Getting spiritual here, right? You're going to feel it in your soul. You're going to feel it in your spirit. You're going to feel it in your heart. It's going to feel meaningful. You're creating something real, something long standing, something worthwhile, right? You're becoming a Mozart, becoming a Michael Jordan, like a Kobe Bryant. Like, I'm not saying become you, but become the best at this craft that you want to master, right? It's not going to happen overnight, but the thing that happens is you fall in love with the process. that process becomes the reward in and of itself. You know, for my life, that's like building my online business, writing music. I have a music channel as well. I'm gonna leave a link on that. You know, doing that every single day, living life on my own terms. Also training every single day or 6 days a week. Doing the ketogenic diet, which I recommend for everyone. No carbs, no sugar. Starving the flesh of the pleasure, but I feel way more energized and have a lot of energy throughout the day. That's sustainable, not these crashes, right? Running on ketones instead of glucose. Search that up or watch my little video that I made about the keto diet, right? Be addicted to your purpose, because otherwise the addictions of the world and the internet will just, I mean, it will devour you, literally. That's what happens to a lot of men. They're getting devoured by addictions, right? You want to get out of that, and you want to devour your purpose. You want to get toward your purpose, toward your mission in life, because we all have a purpose, guys. You just got to find it. You just got to find it, and that emptiness, that void will go away. You'll have something to do. Creative. Something creative to do. You know, feel good. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hit the like, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm dropping a new video every single day. If you did find this useful, make sure you share it to one of your friends or to many of your friends and family members and things like that. People that need to hear this message. Check out my website as well. I have coaching for those that want. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.